I am so excited to be here tonight. I was excited when I received the message from Dr. Felicia Wilson to the inaugural speaker circle. I've actually been speaking at St. Leo probably for about 5 or 6 years now. Sometimes I would just randomly show up at the class of Dr. Felicia and just kind of give some inspiration, spread some inspiration to her students and just kind of have some conversation. And I've also been out there to speak at various human trafficking seminars and professional development days, just something to just kind of inform the students and to give more information about what I do in the juvenile justice system, as well as what I do in my own business as a lifestyle strategist. And you may be asking yourself, Loronda, what exactly is a lifestyle strategist? Well, to me, a lifestyle strategist is just someone who helps people get their life in order, really, and to really come up with a strategy of how they want to live their life and how they want to create the life that they want. So I wouldn't consider myself a life coach. I'm a business owner, and I just help people. I inspire people to live their best life and to create the life that they want. And a lot of times people have challenges with that. So before we get into all of the inspiration and all that other good stuff, I'll just kind of give you a little bit more background about myself and what I do and how I got to this point that I am today. So let me just say this. As a college graduate, I have a master's degree in forensic psychology from Argosy University, which is no longer around, which is kind of odd, but that's another discussion for another day. But it took me 25 years to get my bachelor's degree. Let me say that again, just in case you guys didn't hear it. It took me 25 years to get a bachelor's degree. And you're probably wondering to yourself, Loronda, why did it take you so long to get a bachelor's degree? Well, life was just kind of happening. And initially, when I was in high school, this was probably 30 years ago, I had a high school sweetheart, but my mom made me break up with my high school sweetheart. And my high school sweetheart was psychology. And my mom said to me, you're not going to make any money in that field. You probably might want to study business or some other, studies that would make more money. So I did that for a year. I worked in a bank for a year after graduating high school. And there was just something about that job. It just, I had good friends and I was able to, figure out some things. But I said, you know what? I just woke up literally one day and I was driving to work. I said, this just isn't going to make it. This isn't going to cut it. There's something else out there for me to do. So I ended up joining the Army. I went to work that day and I told one of my coworkers, I said, hey, I want to join the Army. You want to come with me? Do you want to come down to the recruiting station with me? Why don't we join the Army? And she said, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So that's exactly what we did. We went down to the recruiting station and, I was pretty intrigued with all the things that they were telling me because, recruiters, they sell a really good story. They were like, you can travel with your friend, you guys can go overseas, you can travel wherever you want. And I said, that really sounds good. So I signed up that same day and my friend got scared and she said, I can't do this. I'm going to go back to work. So that's what she did. She went back to work and maybe about 6 months later, I was on a train to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. That's where I did my training. And then I did another 8 weeks training for my specialty, which was working in HR at the time. And maybe about 8 weeks after that, I was on a flight to Germany. I had never been on a plane before. I had never seen snow before. And at 19 years old, it was just a new adventure. It was just something new for me to do. So I was in the military for about 3 years. And after 3 years, I came back to Florida and went right back into the corporate sector because it just made sense at the time. So I got a job right away, probably maybe 3 months after coming out of the military. And again, there was just still something missing. I enjoyed what I was doing, and I worked in the corporate sector for about 13 years as in financial services, working as a relationship manager. And I came to Atlanta on business one day, and I literally fell in love with the city of Atlanta. And when I got back to Florida, I said, you know what, I want to move to Atlanta. But the one thing that was really deterring me is I didn't have my degree. Although I did very well in the corporate sector without having a degree, I had a high school diploma, I did very well and I made a lot of money. But there was something still inside of me saying, you can't go to Atlanta because, all those people in Atlanta, they're educated and they have really good jobs. And even though I had a good job, I was still thinking to myself, but you're not educated. You don't have that higher education. But you know what I did? I said, you know what? I'm going to go to Atlanta anyway. So, and it really, literally, everybody was shocked. My family was shocked. My friends were shocked. And I just said, you know what, you guys, I'm going to Atlanta. So that Monday morning when I got back to work, I had been looking in the paper over the weekend. Back then, you could look in the newspaper and the classified ads and find jobs. And that's exactly what I did. I found a job that was very similar to what I was doing in Florida, sent my resume, and probably within a couple of hours, they were calling me saying, we'd like to interview you. So they sent me a plane ticket. I hopped in the plane, came to Atlanta, did the interview. But before I came to Atlanta, I had already scoped out the different apartment complexes and kind of knew my way around before I even got here. So I just kind of did some research. And probably within a week or two, they were calling me, making me an offer. So I literally had to scramble to kind of get everything ready to be able to move to Atlanta. I didn't know anyone here. I just came. I just felt that when I came here, there was something here for me to do. I didn't know what that thing was. I knew something was calling me, but I didn't know what it was. But I followed that intuition and I followed that instinct anyway. So I worked for about another year in the corporate sector. I worked for the same company, was working for First Data Corporation. And I came up here and did that for about a year. And after a year, I got laid off. But in the interim of me being laid off, I had made connections with a residential group home facility out in Kennesaw. It's called Devereaux, Georgia. At the time, it was called Devereaux, Georgia Treatment Network. And it was a facility that housed children that had serious mental illnesses. And I would volunteer my time. I would go out to the school, and we're not really school, but the campus, and I would play tennis with the kids and play cards with the kids, and I helped them get a house together because they were building a home for an independent living program. So kids that were aging out of the system were leaving the campus and coming into the independent living home. So we had about 6 boys in that independent living home, and it just turned into a job opportunity. So it just kind of came full circle. I loved psychology, but I wasn't really sure how I was going to make that jump from the corporate sector back into the field of human services. But, it just seemed, when I look at it now, in hindsight, it just seemed like everything was just in perfect alignment. And I think one of the things that, there's always something that we want to do. There's always this dream or something that we want to do, but we can't really figure out how we're going to make that thing happen. So I think it's really important to just kind of look at your life. If there's something that you want to do, and everybody that's listening to me right now, every single person has a dream. Every single person has something that they want to do. But sometimes things like fear will stop you, or you'll procrastinate, or you have self-doubt or low confidence. There's always something that's stopping you from getting to your next level of greatness. We're here at this point in our lives, and we want to get here to this next level of our greatness. But right here in this space, there's this place that's hindering us, that's stopping us from getting from our next greatness. And I call those things layers. And to me, like I said, those things are shame and guilt and, mommy issues, daddy issues, all of these reasons why we can't progress, why we can't step out and say, you know what, I have a dream of finishing my degree. And that I was that person. I was that person who had been working in the corporate sector for 13 years and then another probably 5 or 6 years in state government. And I said to myself, I was looking around and literally saw everyone around me with their degrees. And finally, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get my degree. So I went to University of Alabama. They had an extended degree program, and I finished up my college credits because I was able to transfer the college credits that I had from Florida to University of Alabama. And the type of program that they had, it was kind of like you could use your life experience to create different courses, and that's exactly what I did. So I was able to use my financial services background and all the things that I had learned, my military experience, to create classes in order for me to get my degrees. But I still had to do my basic math and English and different things like that. But I still persisted. I wanted that degree because everyone around me had their bachelor's degree or they had their master's degree. And I said, well, I want mine too. So, I was going to school every day. I was working every day. And, over a period of time, like I said, over a period of 25 years, I would take a course here, take a course there, take about a year or two off, take a course. And it was just a process that I went through. And when I finally got that piece of paper from University of Alabama, that was like one of the best days of my life. I had to be persistent. I had to say, you know what, if there's something that you want to do, you just go ahead and do it. And I remember I took a creative writing class, and I was taking poetry classes, writing poetry classes. And one of my professors said to me, Loronda, you really should publish some of these poems and publish some of the stuff that you're writing. And this probably was maybe 2004, 2005. And I was thinking to myself, this guy is crazy. I'm not publishing any books or anything like that. Well, fast forward 15 years later, I've self-published 3 of my own books. So when you're looking at, because people always ask me, well, how do you know, that you were a writer or you wanted to write books, or how did you know that thing? And I think a lot of times we just don't pay enough attention to our lives. And I think when I look back at it, all of my life, words have been the cornerstone of my life. When I was a little kid, when I was just a little baby, just learning to walk and read, my mom said that I would take the nursery rhyme books and turn them upside down and read the books backwards. So I had committed those words to memory. So that was one clue. And then when I was, further along in probably maybe 4th or 5th grade, I was such a good speller. I would always, win spelling bees and different things like that. Fast forward, when I was taking college courses, my professors would always say, Loronda, you're such a great writer. So I just kind of looked at all those things. I literally sat down one day and I said, well, okay, if you want to move forward with your life, what are your dreams? What is it that you really want to do? What do you really want to accomplish? And I sat down and I made a list. I made a list of all the jobs that I've ever done. And then on the other side, I made a list of all the different attributes or characteristics or skills that I needed in order to do those particular job functions. And one of the things I noticed is I circled great writer or great communicator, so all these different things I started to notice that I was good at. So I said, okay, if you're a good writer and you're a good communicator, how can you take just those 2 specific skills and elevate that to your next level of greatness? So then I actually received a call one day from one of my colleagues when I was a probation officer. I did that for 7 years, juvenile probation officer. And I literally was sitting at my desk one day and he called me and he said, Loronda, we're having a professional development day, a professional development week at our school for our GED students. Would you, want to come in and be a part of that? Would you like to participate and do a workshop? And I said, you know what, let me think about it. I'm not really sure, but let me think about it. So then when I hung up the phone with him, I had a long talk with myself. I said, you know what, if you want something different from your life, you have to do something different. So, after I gave myself a good tongue lashing, I picked up the phone and I called him. I said, you know what, I'll do it. So I went and I did that workshop, and I did it on goal setting with the young students. And I mean, it was amazing. This was 2013, and it was absolutely amazing. And it's so funny because people still talk about that, that talk that I did, that workshop that I did with those students. And that's how I met Felicia. Actually, the person that called me, his name was Granville Freeman. He called me and asked me to do that. And then he introduced me to Felicia. And Felicia and I, like I said, I've been coming to St. Leo for a very long time. And I've used those opportunities to strengthen my voice and to, be the person that can come in and facilitate a workshop or be a keynote speaker, which I've done several times. So those are my strengths. Those are things that I found that were my strengths. So I've just really been, sharpening those skills and using those skills. And I've, like I said, been able to do some amazing things with that. And, now I'm a podcaster. I have 2 podcasts. One is Peeling Back the Layers of Your Life. I just celebrated 30 episodes today. And I have another podcast. It's called Loronda Inspires Greatness. And on that podcast, it's just 3 to 5 minutes of inspiration. You go in, get inspired, and then you go on about your business. But the Peeling Back the Layers of Your Life podcast is an interview style where it's very conversational, where I interview guests. We talk about their greatness, but we also talk about the layers that they had to peel in order to get to their greatness. And, those conversations get really deep when people start talking about their childhood and things that they went through, in order to really peel those layers to get to their greatness of being a good speaker or being an entrepreneur or being an author or whatever their dream was. We kind of get to the root of why they weren't able to get to that certain place that they want to get to. And it's a really amazing podcast. I have listenership in 25 countries. I've interviewed 3 international guests, one from India, one from Israel, one from Canada. And I have 2 guests that are coming up this weekend from India. And it's just been an amazing, amazing journey with the podcast. And that was just, you never could have told me last year that I would be doing a podcast. You couldn't have told me that. And it just kind of happened this year. I was, doing a lot of podcast interviews and radio and TV last year. And I think that one of the important things is you have to kind of look at what you do well. And if there's something that you do really well, you have to exploit that. And literally, that's just how I feel at this point. I feel like my voice is the thing that I'm exploiting, whether I'm speaking or I'm doing something on a podcast or TV or saying something to inspire someone. It's really, you really have to take a look at your life. If you want your life to look vastly different from what it is today, you have to be willing to do something different. You can't get up every day and continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect something different. It just doesn't happen that way. And, a lot of times I'm driving to work because I'm still a 9-to-5er as well as a business owner. And, sometimes I ask myself, Loronda, what is it that you really want to do? When I started asking myself that questions, you have to be patient and wait for the answers to come, but the answers will come. If you're seeking those answers, they will definitely come. So what I want to tell you guys, we want to talk about, seeing the vision and building the dream. And it's not an easy thing that's going to happen. Let me just say that, because if you were to look at my social media, if you look at my social footprint, you would say, oh my God, this, whatever it is your conclusion will be. But usually the comments I'll get from people like, wow, how are you able to do all of this stuff? And I feel like when you're doing something that you really love, it's not really work. It is not really work for me. And I know that, things look really easy, because for me at this point they are, because I had to work to that point. But the one thing that you really have to understand when you're pursuing your dreams is life is going to continue to happen. So if you're waiting for a moment in your life where, okay, everything is kind of quiet in my life right now, I can pursue that dream. Well, that's not going to happen, because let me tell you, when I was in my final year of my master's degree studies, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And when I tell you that I was like, getting my master's degree in psychology was my biggest goal that I was working towards. And at the time I was working 2 full-time jobs and going to graduate school. Graduation date, December 2012. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in April of 2012. So I had really serious decisions to make in a very short period of time. And the chairperson of my forensic psychology study said to me, Loronda, you really can wait until May of 2013 to graduate. I said, you have no idea that there's no way that I'm going to wait. So I literally pushed myself through 2 major surgeries, several research papers that I had to do, several exams that I had to do in order to get from graduate to graduation day. And I just literally pushed through, and I wasn't thinking about the breast cancer, the surgery, or any of that. The only thing I was focused on is walking across that stage December 2012 to get my degree, and that's exactly what I did. It was very difficult. When I look at it now, it was extremely difficult. But anytime the type of person that anytime adversity comes on my path, I immediately start to push. So if there's something that you want to do, and if you want to do it bad enough, you're going to make it happen. But the most important part of whatever it is that you want to do, you first have to decide, what is that thing? What is that it thing that you want to do? Every single person has an it thing that they want to do. And either making excuses, well, I don't have time, I don't have the money, they give me all these reasons why they can't accomplish whatever it is they want to accomplish. And every time they give me a reason why, every time they give me a reason why not, I give them 2 reasons why they can't. And if you focus, you set your mind, if that's what you want to do, then you do it. So that's the first thing. So I'm going to give you 6 things of how you can really focus in on your dreams and get them accomplished. 6 things. So if you guys want to write it down, you can. But the very first thing is you have to decide what you want. You can't be intimidated or bring in all these different fear factors of why you can't do it, or, well, maybe I tried it before and it didn't work. Well, guess what? Try it a different ways. Try a different approach. Try a different strategy. And that's why I'm a lifestyle strategist, because I come up with different strategies of how to do things and how to make things work. And it's not about, last year I kind of got rid of that hustle and grind mentality, that whole mindset, because that just doesn't work. To me, it's all about manifestation, law of attraction, attracting into my life exactly what I want. You have to do that. You have to focus on what you want. And the things that you put your attention on, those things will multiply. They will multiply. Trust me when I tell you this. I'm a living, breathing proof that whatever you focus your attention on, it will multiply. And the thing that I will tell you also is when you decide what you want, decide on one thing. Don't look at the big dream as a whole, because my big dream as a whole really is to fly around the world on a private jet, inspiring people to live their best life and to create the life that they want. I will help them by creating opportunities and providing resources and giving access, because when you have access and opportunities, you're able to do anything and accomplish anything you want in this world. And it's really based on relationships. A lot of times you guys have heard it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. I know Dr. Felicia Wilson. That's why I'm sitting here now having this conversation with you. You have to nurture relationships along the way. You have to step out of your comfort zone and do something different. In 2017, I said to myself, I had another conversation with myself. I said, Loronda, if you really want to be that person who's going to fly around the world to inspire people to live their best life, and I'm serious about that every single day, that's the only thing I focus on every single day of my life. And you would be amazed at the people that are starting to show up on my path, on my journey. These people have been waiting for me to get my mindset together in order to really be serious about that dream. So I don't think about the big dream of being on the private jet flying around the world. I focus on what I can do and what I can accomplish today. So for me, what it's been over the last 9 months really has been focusing on my podcast. So me being in contact with 30 different people from around the world, connecting with these people, I now have access to their networks and developing relationships with people, joining organizations, I've joined the Georgia Diversity Council, I joined different organizations within Atlanta, and within those different corporations that I'm able to go in and out of, I'm going to be at Mercedes-Benz headquarters on Thursday. I've been at Coca-Cola's headquarters. I've been at Home Depot's headquarters. I've been at a lot of major corporations in their headquarters because I'm networking with a certain group of people. I go to the mayor has different receptions, so I go to those type of things. You have to position yourself. If there's something that you want to do, after you make your decision on what it is, when you decide on that one thing, you have to position yourself around the people who are doing the things that you want to do. If I walk into the room and I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. I need to be in the room. I need to be in the room where the millionaires are and the billionaires are, the people who are visionaries, who are thinking on a different level. I see myself as a visionary, but there are people out there who can see something that I can't see. So I want to be privy to the information that they know. I want to sit at their feet and learn from them so I can elevate myself. So once you decide what you want, position yourself, join meetup groups, connect yourself with people who are doing the things that you want to do and learn from those people. After you decide what you want, the one thing, commit to it. You have to be committed. When I tell you that I live, eat, breathe, and sleep my goals, my dreams and desires, that's all I think about. I'm literally at a point in my life right now where I'm literally obsessed with what I'm going to be doing with my life. And I'm getting closer and closer and closer to that moment every single day of my life. And I think the thing that's really important, and I'll talk a little bit about the other part that really just kind of seals everything for you and that really makes sense. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But once you decide what you want, you commit yourself to it, you have to visualize it every single day. So every single day, I visualize myself sitting on that private jet, flying around the world, inspiring people to live their best life. I visualize myself standing on stadiums. Whenever I see Joel Osteen on Sunday morning, I visualize myself standing on that stage in front of that huge crowd that he has in the Compact Center. I have a picture. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show it to you guys. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's on my vision board. So right here in the center, that's Joel Osteen's Compact Center right there. And this is me on the screen right here. So every single day I see this. Every single day. I have 3 vision boards. You got to visualize yourself seeing it. When I'm visualizing myself sitting on the private jet, I visualize what the leather feels like. I visualize what the air smells like. I visualize all these different scenarios where I am. Because guess what? Your brain doesn't know if you're actually experiencing or not. Your brain doesn't really know if I'm sitting in the stadium with all these people or if it's just something that I'm dreaming. So visualization, you have to see yourself doing what you want to do. After you decide what you want, you commit to it and you visualize it. The next step is you have to believe in yourself. Like you literally have to believe in yourself. I was having a conversation with one of my podcast guests last week, and the title of his podcast episode is Am I Good Enough? And that was one of the questions that he asked himself. He's a human trafficking speaker. He speaks on human trafficking. He goes across the nation training people and talking to people about human trafficking. But one of the things he said to me was, I had to ask myself, am I good enough to talk about this subject? Am I an expert in this field? And his question to himself was, no, I'm not an expert, but I do have some experience and expertise on the subject, therefore I can speak on it. But someone in his classroom challenged him and asked him, how are you able to speak on this subject? So that's when he started really questioning himself, am I really good enough to do this? So you have to believe that whatever that dream is, that one thing that you want to do, you have to believe that you're good enough, that you're the person for the job. No one else is qualified to do that job but you. Because guess what? Whatever your dreams, your goals, and desires are, you're the only person that can do that job. Nobody else can do my podcast the way I do it. Nobody else can speak the way I speak. Nobody else can write the way I write. Nobody else can do my dream, my goals, and my desires the way that I do it. Now, people can replicate, they can look and duplicate certain things, but they can never do things the way you can do it. Everybody has a special gift. Every single person has greatness inside of them. Every person has greatness. So if you have greatness inside of you and you know and you feel and you understand that you have greatness inside of you, that's really the foundation of what you stand on. Because some people may say, well, I'm not qualified or I don't have the experience to do this or do that. Yes, you do. You do. All of your life experiences, all of your life lessons, that's the building block that you stand on. That's what you stand on. That's a foundation that you've already created. I'm 53 years old, so I have 53 years of some really good stuff, and it's solid that I'm standing on. So knowing that I have that level of experience and life lessons and wisdom, it makes me feel really confident. And it doesn't matter what it is that I'm learning or what I'm going to be going into next that I've never done a podcast before. I create my podcast, I host my podcast, I produce my podcast all by myself. I took an 1.5-hour class, learned how to do it, and you just learn. Even if you don't know how to do it, I didn't know how to publish a book, but I learned how to do that. And I always say that everything that you've ever done is connected to everything that you'll ever do. So if there's something that you want to know about, explore, do research, talk to people, ask people. And people always say, well, don't go around telling people your dreams. Are you kidding me? If I don't tell people what my dreams are, because the person that's sitting next to me may have that access that I need. So if I walk around with my mouth closed and I don't tell people what I want to do, there goes my access. So I'm strategic about it. You have to know who to tell certain things to in order to gain the access. So again, let me just repeat. Decide what you want, visualize what you want, and you got to commit to it. And you got to believe in yourself. And you have to believe that regardless of anything that's happening in your life, that you can do it. You got to believe that. You got to believe that it's going to happen. You have to have a belief system that's so strong that people think you're absolutely out of your mind. And guess what? Initially, people are going to think you're absolutely out of your mind. When I told people that I'm going to be flying around a private jet, inspiring people to live their best life and to create the life that they want, they just kind of looked at me. But then after a while, they became my greatest cheerleaders. They're like, yep, we know you're going to do this. And I think it's really funny because, I get up and I go to work every day, but I'm doing all these other things. And last year around this time, I was out in Vegas for a photo shoot. I'm a brand ambassador for a women's empowerment brand. And I was out in Vegas for like 3 or 4 days. And then I went to Philadelphia for a conference, but I was right back at work on Monday morning. My coworkers they're very supportive and they're my greatest cheerleaders. But the thing that I always tell them is I'm no different than you. If there's something that you want to do with your life, then pursue it. I'm no different. I'm no more special than you. There's nothing, about my greatness that supersedes your greatness. We all have a certain level of greatness within us, but we have to believe that. But my confidence is so strong and my belief system is so strong that I'm seeing evidence of that every single day. Every single day. So the last thing I want to tell you is about don't let anything stop you, not even you. Because a lot of times there's things that we want to do, goals and dreams that we want to pursue, but there's that negative self-talk happening. You're talking yourself out of situations constantly. Pay attention to what you're saying to yourself. Start paying attention to those negative thought patterns and those negative words that you're saying to yourself over and over and over again. It's almost like you wake up every day, you press the play button, and then the tape recorder, just the same old stuff is just running around in your brain all the time. Take inventory of what you're thinking about. Think about what you think about. Think about it. Like, what do you really think about on a daily basis? If you sat down, even just for a day or for an hour, and you made note of some of the things that you think about, and then you went back over a week's period and you just kind of noticed the same thought patterns over and over and over again. And if you start to notice those patterns of negative thinking, simply start replacing it. Take that one negative thought that you say about yourself and replace that with a positive thought. And I know that sounds real simple, but it takes practice. Anything that you want to do different in your life, anytime we're talking about life transformation and doing something different with your life, you have to practice. You have to create habits. You have to create things that are going to get you closer to where you want to be. And you have to create those pockets. And people say, well, Loronda, I don't have time in my schedule. That's the biggest myth. People always say, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. We make time to do the things that we want to do. If it's really important to you, you'll make time to do it. You'll make time to do it. So those are 6 things, but I'm going to give you 2 other things that are really like the secret sauce to changing your life, transforming your life, and really gaining the mental aptitude and the mental clarity that you need, because you need mental clarity. And I promise you, when you get to a point where you have mental clarity, everything in your life is like, it's like butter. It just literally clicks. And your intuition is on such a heightened level that you don't even have to think about what your next move is. You don't have to strategize or do too much thinking about, oh my God, this isn't working out. What am I going to do? You don't have to do that. I promise you, everything just kind of, it starts, I can't explain it, but it just really happens. And the level of clarity that I have right now in my life and the instincts, the heightened instincts is it's just beyond belief. I have more clarity in my life than I ever have. And it's just amazing. And I'm going to give you the secret sauce on how I was able to do that. And it's meditation. I've been meditating probably since 2004, 2005, roughly. And literally, when I tell you, your life will change. Because what happens when you meditate, you're sitting in a space, and usually when I do it, usually in the mornings and sometimes at night, you're sitting in a space where it's completely quiet and it's just you and your thoughts. And people are like, well, I can't sit still because I'm thinking all the time. Well, yeah, that's going to happen initially because your body and your mind, you have to train your body. You have to train your mind and your body, literally train your mind like an athlete trains their body. You literally can change how you think and change the chemical structures of your brain by just thinking differently. So with the meditation, you have an opportunity to quiet those thoughts and to quiet your mind, to quiet all that outside distraction. And when you get really good with meditation, and I'm at a level of meditation now, and you guys probably won't believe what I'm about to tell you, but when I meditate, I have absolutely no thoughts in my head whatsoever. Not one thought. So if you can imagine being able to sit in a space for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes maybe an hour, 45 minutes. I'm in meditation and I have absolutely no thoughts coming in my head, no thoughts whatsoever. So to be able to have that level of clarity, that level of quiet, and to block out everything that's around me. Sometimes I'm so deep in meditation that I can't even feel my body. I can't tell my toes from my fingers. I can't tell my legs from my arms. I can't see anything. I can't feel anything. It's just clarity. So when I come out of meditation, usually in the mornings, I call it the download. I feel like I'm just getting all of this information, all of these different ideas of things that I want to do. So my level of creativity just has gone through the roof. My level of clarity has gone through the roof, and I'm able to be so focused on what I want that I'm able to attract that energy into my space, into my life. So meditation is the secret sauce. And the second secret sauce is being grateful. Being grateful for what you have, being grateful for where you are in your life. You may not be where you want to be, but I promise you, if you focus your energy on it, if you focus and spend some time with yourself, spend some alone time with yourself, trust me, things will change. And you have to create habits. I'm not talking about meditate for 5 minutes on Monday and then you don't meditate again for another 3 years. That's not what I'm saying. You've got to create space in your life where some things have to move off your plate and then you incorporate some new habits. So I would suggest just 5 minutes of meditation in the morning, 5 minutes of meditation at night. And what 5 minutes looks like is just go somewhere and be quiet. Just sit still. Just practice sitting still for 5 minutes. No TV, no social media, no radio, no nothing. So when I wake up in the morning, I do my prayer, my meditation. As I'm getting ready for work, there's no TV, there's no radio, there's nothing. It's just me and God having a conversation. And some of the stuff that he reveals to me is like, whoa, wow, never thought about that before. Hey, I need to do this. I need to do that. You need to call this person or you need to email this person. And it's just literally, that's just how it goes. I get step-by-step instructions on, I have to think about it. I literally don't have to think about it. And I'll just give you guys an example. This lovely St. Leo t-shirt that I'm wearing today, I went to a conference and I had on a business shirt. I had on a button-down shirt. And I was thinking, man, I really just want to go home and, just take a shower and just relax. I don't want to have to sit up there with this, this shirt on. And I heard the whisper, hey, just go home, take a shower, and put on your St. Leo t-shirt. I was like, oh, man, that's a great idea. Those type of things will just kind of come to you. Things, and I mean, it's little things. I mean, something as small as, why don't you just change your shirt, take a shower, and put on a St. Leo t-shirt? Something as simple as that, just getting that level of insight to do something different that you normally wouldn't do. So being able to heed the messages, because there's messages all over the place. There's messages on billboards. I get majority of my messages, like the big things that I want, I get those on a billboard. I see those on a billboard. And last, I would say almost a year, I was driving to Rome one day and I saw this billboard and it says, things are looking up. And I said, that message is for me. And I've been seeing that same billboard for almost a year. Then about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I saw another billboard. It's the same company. It's for a lawyer, an attorney. The message changed, said, next stop big. You guys think I'm kidding, right? So it's on my vision board somewhere. I can't. Oh, okay. So right here, it says things are looking up, right? It's on there. That's what was on the billboard. I took a picture of the billboard and I put that on my vision board. And then the same thing with next stop big. That was on a billboard. I took a picture of it and I put it on my vision board. This is my vision board. Y'all see that? Building an empire. whatever it is that you want to do with your life, you've got to get focused. You got to get serious about it. You got to get focused. And I would highly suggest that you get a vision board. Get yourself a vision board. And I don't have any like houses and cars and, you know, all those different things like that. I do have stacks of money on there though. Stacks of money right here. I've got them on all four sides. But cars and houses and all those different material things, those things will just kind of, they'll come on your path. Those things are already there. But if you focus on like words that are inspiring to you, things that inspire you, things that you want to accomplish. So I put a book cover on my vision board I did in 2013. Different things that I wanted, I put it on the vision board. And those things, I can look back at that vision board from 2013 and say, oh, wow, I accomplished that thing. I did that thing. I put a picture of myself as a speaker and back in 2013. Here it is, 6 years later. That's exactly what I'm doing. So that's the level of focus that you have to have. Pick one thing that you want to do and just go for it. Just go for it. So let me run down those 6 things and then the extra 2 for you. Decide what you want. Commit to it. Visualize it every day. Believe you can do it. Believe in yourself. Don't let anything stop you, not even you. And then the secret sauce is meditate. Take 5 minutes out of your day. Even if you take 5 minutes in your car, if you have a family and kids are running around, spouses are running around, go sit in the garage, go sit in the car for 5 minutes just to have some peace and quiet to yourself. Or if you come to work every day, turn the radio off and just sit in silence. Meditate, be grateful. So I see some questions popping up here. Let's see. Are you guys going to read the questions to me or do I read them? How do we do this?
I'll read them to you. The first question is, how do you continue to focus on your vision when life events seem to knock you down?
Did you hear when I said I was working 2 full-time jobs in graduate school and diagnosed with breast cancer? And I still graduated on time? There's never, ever going to be a time in your life where your life is going to be quiet enough for you to accomplish your goals, your dreams and desires, and to walk in your purpose. There's never going to be a moment. So either you can just continue to just kind of sit on the sidelines and just, hope and wish and pray that, man, I really need my life to calm down before I can pursue this thing. If there's something that you have identified, pick one thing that will get you closer to that. So let's say, for instance, you want to be, you want to be a speaker. And you've never spoken publicly ever in your life, but you see yourself on that stage. You see yourself on that national, global platform being a speaker. Visualize it every single day. Join a group, a Facebook group. I don't know if you guys are in Facebook, but be around people who are doing the thing that you want to do. That would be the first thing that I suggest. Do your research. What does it take to be a speaker? What type of experience do you need to be a speaker? Volunteer your time and go speak at, a children's center or a woman, something. Find something where you can practice doing what you want to do. And that's what I did. I did a lot of free engagements. And I was able to practice and sharpen my skills. I was able to get pictures of me doing what I want to do. So there's that whole social proof thing too. So I'm a speaker. You guys need to be able to plug my name into Google and see a whole bunch of stuff. There's got to be some social proof out there. There's got to be something that says, Loronda C. Giddens, yeah, she does what she says she does. And yeah, she's doing that. So I would just say, just identify one thing that you can do and do that one thing. And when you master that, do the next thing. Get yourself around people who are doing what you want to do.
Thank you for that. We have another question.
Okay.
And is, Is 5 minutes the minimum amount of time you would recommend starting with meditating?
You could just sit down for 30 seconds, 10 seconds, because you want to be able to build on that. So 5 minutes may be daunting to some people to be able to say, man, I don't have 5 minutes of my time to just sit and chill and do nothing. Okay, so take 10 seconds or 30 seconds and then build on that. So today you may start out with 30 seconds, and then tomorrow it might be a minute. And then the next day it might be 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes. Because what happens with meditation is when you start to meditate, you're going to love how it feels and you're going to want more of it. So that 5 minutes is going to turn into 15 minutes, and then 20 minutes, and then 30 minutes. And there's a whole bunch of apps out there. YouTube has a lot of different things that you can do. There's the Calm app. There's I think it's I can't think of the name of it. But there's several different apps out there that you can download to kind of help you with the process of meditation. And I recently did the 21-day meditation with Deepak Chopra and Oprah Winfrey, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
And one more question. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend on how to practice quieting your mind?
You just got to get still. That's the biggest challenge that we have, because everybody's so busy. I'm so busy and life is happening. I don't have time. Stop saying that to yourself. Because the more you say to yourself, I'm too busy, guess what? It's that whole law of attraction thing I was saying, and it's your language too. It's the language and the mindset. So if you're believing that you don't have enough time and you're constantly telling people, I don't have enough time, girl, I don't have time to, do nothing. Well, yeah, you do. So you have to change your language along with changing the mindset. And it's really, you've got to have those moments of stillness to be able to really transform your life in a really amazing way.
Thank you. There's another question. What was the tip after believe that you can do it?
So believe in yourself, believe you can do it. Don't let anyone stop you, not even you. It's that getting in your way, with the negative thinking or the negative talk that you're saying to your friends or saying to yourself. You'd be amazed at some of the things that we say to ourselves about ourselves. It's really disparaging sometimes, but we can work on that. We literally can change our entire life, and I'm proof of that. 20 years ago or 30 years ago, the person that you see in front of you, I was so different. And I'm just so thankful that I'm no longer that person. I'm thankful, grateful that I'm not.
Well, we want to thank you, Loronda C. Giddens, for speaking to our students, for being our speaker and the first speaker in our speaker circle tonight. We truly appreciate it. You have given us some powerful tools. We have all been taking notes, and I know personally I look forward to employing what you have said. You spoke a lot to some of the issues that I have with that negative self-talk and not believing. Mm-hmm. And that vision board was a great reminder, I think, to all of us. I have a group here in Savannah of 7 students, and I think we all gravitated to that vision board, and mm-hmm. realizing that being able to visualize what we want is important as well. So
it's critical.
We want to thank you so very, very much for your time. We appreciate you. Also, if there are any more questions, we have a comment from Dr. Woods that says, very inspirational and wonderful tips. Thank you so much. And from Sandra that says, thank you as well. And again, the students here in Savannah are thanking you as well. And I just want to also say thank you to Dr. Wilson for bringing you to us and for organizing this speaker circle. Thank you to Dr. Nancy Wood for providing the platform for this meeting, and Dr. Boone Thornton for being a co-facilitator, and all of our participants for participating in this event. And we hope that you will be with us in our next term in fall 2 for the Speaker Circle. And the next speaker in this series is Dr. Glenn Strauss, and that will be Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., and it will be hosted by Dr. Nancy Wood.
Awesome. Just one last parting words about the vision board. Don't just do the vision board and just put it under the bed, in the garage, in the attic. My vision boards, y'all can't see it, but I have 3 of them on the back of my bedroom door. So it's the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning. It's the last thing I see before I go to bed. And I stand in front of that vision board and I look, okay, got some work to do. So visualize it, see it every day. Keep it right here.
Thank you so much. And one last comment to you, and it was from Dr. Boone Thornton, who said, thank you. It was so inspirational, and she is inspired.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. I greatly appreciate you. I love St. Leo University.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Loronda. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.